Muscles relaxing means that they aren't under any tension, which will relieve stress in the muscles. Major stresses in sport. Competition. Competition can have a big part to do with why an athlete might get stressed, especially when it's for a title against a better team than yours, or possibly to stop from being relegated. For example, when a rugby team makes it into the final, the cup, most of the team or all of the team are going to feel quite stressed because they've worked really hard to make it to that point, and this match is decided whether they win the league or not. Conflict. Conflict between two teams can bring stress upon both teams. As if you lose, you have the humiliation of losing to the other team, so everyone will be stressed on themselves as they feel like they really need to win that match. Frustration. Frustration can be due to many reasons, such as mistakes. If a player is constantly making the same mistake or a variety of mistakes, they will stress themselves out and their performance is likely to decrease. Climate. Different types of climate can stress different types of people out. Hot temperatures are common for people to get easily stressed out due to the heat. Exercising in the heat would make this worse as the body temperature increases during exercise. Injury. Injury can be quite stressful, especially from a reoccurring injury. Injuries would stress an athlete out because it can take them out of their sport for a long time, depending on the injury. These stress levels would get high because they would desperately want to do their sport, but they can't because they'll make the injury worse. Psychological barriers. There are several theories linked to non-participation in exercise or modification to changing a healthier behavior. These models are trans-theoretical model, planned behavior, and the belief model. Trans-theoretical model states that to change behavior, a person must go through a series of changes before making that change. Before people go through different stages at different rates at several times when changing their behavior. This starts as pre-contemplation. This means that an individual is unlikely to take part in exercise. It then goes on to contemplation, which is when someone is getting ready to make a change but realizes there is a lot of work to be done. The next stage is preparation. This is when the individual is ready to change within the next 30 days and starts edging towards making that change to their physical health. Action is the next stage. This is when the individual has started to take action and must maintain their motivation not to give up. The next stage of this model is maintenance. This is when feelings must be shared in order not to relapse. And finally, the last stage is termination. This is quite clear. This is when someone fully gives up because they don't have that drive to carry on. The trans-theoretical model states that it takes up a massive amount of time to change behavior and that it cannot be forced into somebody's life. This is shown in a survey that I did where 50% of people I asked to start a training program of their own decided to work towards. However, only 25% carried on and the other 75% stopped because it didn't work for them. This concludes that 75% of the people not putting the effort to design a training program led to their termination, supporting the model. The theory of planned behavior is made up of three components: attitude, willingness, and drive. A person's subjective norms is what is considered to be socially acceptable by people around you, like friends and family. Perceived behavior control, which is how difficult or easy an individual finds to complete or access. The theory states that if all of these aspects are in place, then the individual will gain strong intention in changing their behavior on a particular sport or healthy lifestyle. The theory was countered by the results in my survey. The survey tells us that 75% of people are most likely influenced by what sport they take on by their family or friends. This shows that you don't necessarily need all three aspects of the theory in order to take part in sport. However, 50% of people that completed the survey said that they wouldn't take part in a fitness program. This shows us that even though one of the subjective norms were in place, they did not have the right attitude in order to take part in exercise. The health belief model is a person's own perception on changing their behavior in a healthy way. The easiest way to describe this is through a situation. For example, if a doctor tells you that if you carry on smoking, your risk of getting heart disease will increase to 85%. Therefore, they refer you to a personal trainer and to increase your exercise levels to help you decrease this. The client could react in two ways to this. One being trusting the doctor and following within his or her instructions, or they could just ignore their advice. This is known as perceived benefits. It is the person's perception on how effective advised medicine or action is to them to improving their health. There is then perceived severity. Coming back to the example I gave, the client will have their own risk rating of how serious the heart disease actually is. This is their own perception, but is generally the same throughout socially. Perceived barriers is an individual perception on the difficulties that arise in taking advised action, including both physical and mental. Perceived susceptibility is the likelihood of getting the condition. From the survey that was taken, I found that 100% of all people that did the survey knew that they were capable of getting a health issue when not participating in sport, but also if they did. This tells us that people in the survey have a high susceptibility of getting an illness of some sort. This is backed up by when we asked them on a scale of 1 to 10 how serious you think heart disease is, 1 being nothing, 10 being really bad. Everyone put 8 or higher. However, you might see a difference in a wider variety of people, as I only asked college students at the same college.